You can tell they're sisters, but
Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Town of Fort Mills Council meeting for Monday, May the 8th. If you would, please silence all communications devices, be it a laptop or an iPad or your phone, so that we can give you our attention and you can give yours to us. Given that, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance and invocation and then begin our work this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of this day and the opportunity for each of us to serve our community. We all serve with a good and open heart, and I pray that you will guide us in the decisions that we make to help each and every individual as best we can. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Council members, you have been provided the April 12th, 17th, and 24th council meeting minutes. Do you have any changes, additions, or deletions?
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to
I'll second.
approve and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Wolf, for doing Ronnie's job of recognizing we have no comments. All right. Public comment. Pursuant to Section 2-46 of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Fort Mill, any citizen of the town may appear before council for the purpose of providing public comments on any municipal matter except personnel matters. Those who wish to speak must sign in outside of council chambers prior to the start of the meeting. Citizens will be given 3 minutes each to speak. Do we have anyone signed in?
We do, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we will hear from Mr. Phil Hayes.
I'm just here to answer questions if there are any, but I may make a few statements before you hear the items, if that's okay.
I think that's fine. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. With no further citizens signed in, we will move immediately to presentations. Presentation number 1, Employee of the Quarter, our Town Manager, Davy Broom.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Good evening, members of council. It is that time of the year to present Employee of the Quarter, and I would like to ask Mr. Robert Frady to join me at the podium. Mayor, as you know, the Town of Fort Mill presents an Employee of the Quarter, every quarter of the year. So for the second quarter of 2023, I'd like to present Robert Frady as our Employee of the Quarter. I'd like to give a little background on the Employee of the Quarter and how we come about selecting one. Employees are nominated for going above and beyond their normal duties for exceptional work and for making a significant contribution to the town of Fort Mill. The significant contribution is defined as providing excellent service to town citizens and co-workers, developing and implementing a new program which will benefit the overall organization, or any other contribution which the nominator believes is noteworthy. Employees may be nominated for providing exemplary service in their daily job performance and demonstrating a willingness to work above and beyond the call of duty. The Employee of the Quarter should model behaviors of a good employee, including a positive, professional attitude, respectful of policies, helpful to coworkers, exhibiting good customer service and people skills, and a record of good attendance. So each quarter, nominations are received from staff, and a committee made up of representatives from each town department reviews and votes on the nominations. I, as town manager, have no role in the program to make it a fair program across the board, except I get to present the awards, so I get to do the fun part. The employee of the quarter receives recognition in a town council meeting, provided a framed certificate. They get recognition on a board that's displayed in the lobby of Town Hall, and they receive a $100 gift certificate. Robert Frady, I will say, has been with us just shy of 34 years as a town employee. So to put that into perspective, he joined us just a few months before Hurricane Hugo ravaged our town back in September of 1989. So he's been with us quite some time. Robert has served in positions in the Public Works Department, in the Sanitation, Streets, and Buildings and Grounds departments for Public Works. That was the majority of his time with the town. And for over the past 10 years, he has been serving in the Parks and Recreation Department. I had the pleasure of managing Robert for many years in the Public Works Department, and I will say his dedication to Fort Mill is beyond comparison. I'd like to read some comments from his nomination letter. Robert R. Frady Jr. has been employed with the town for over 33 and a half years. He has been a part of our department for over 10 years. He is committed, dedicated, and loves his job and this town. He never complains about any tasks that we give him and always gives a 110% effort to his job. He comes in early and never leaves without making sure the parks and facilities are clean for the public and our citizens. Robert also loves his fellow co-workers, and we are fortunate that he is a part of our staff and team. And Mayor and members of council, I could not say it any better myself. Robert has been the model employee for the town when it comes to dedication, love for the town, love for the job, and working with others. So with that, I would like to present Robert with the framed certificate as Employee of the Quarter. And if you would like to, Robert, let's step up here and get our photo together.
All right. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
I would like to also,
Keep me about 30, 40 years.
how about 34 more? Huh, what do you think? I have to say
I got about
honestly,
6 more, 7 more, I'll be 40.
I've had the experience of seeing Mr. Frady ask to do small things and huge things, and all in between. And he has not once viewed them differently. He wants to do them all just right and for the right reasons. He serves this town, its staff, the community. I've seen him help with dignitaries. I've seen him help with people he didn't know at our events. So if everyone had a heart like Robert Frady, I think we'd all be better people. So thank you so much. All righty. Well, that just takes my breath away. Presentation number 2, one of my favorite parts of the year, the Fort Mill Farmers Market 2022 recap and the plans for 2023. Jacana Hester. Jacana, do your feet hurt today? I bet so.
A little bit. On to the next thing, though. So we were going to do just a little recap of 2022 and then our plans for this year's market. Dina, in her role as Assistant Events Coordinator now, she is coordinating the market for us.
Bye, Robert.
See ya.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Councilman, everybody.
You're welcome.
I'll cherish this a lifetime.
Okay.
So we want to thank our vendors for continuing to make our farmers market a success and bringing their products here. Last year, our market was held May 14th through October the 29th, and we rotated approximately 50 vendors into the market throughout the year with an average of 35 to 45 vendors on any given Saturday. Sales from 2022 totaled around $300,000. So that's, starting out with just a little bit our first year, and now we've tripled last year. So, and that included, we had occasional food trucks and live music were a feature of the market. The Fort Mill History Museum hosted Pioneer Crafts with Kids on select Saturdays too. And our plans for this year, our farmers market will run from Saturday, May 13th through Saturday, October the 28th from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. the entire market season. It continues to be at Veterans Park, 106 North White Street. And we continue just to take applications throughout the market season. We're always looking for more meats and produce and eggs and honey and local farm products and other agricultural items. And then we do have handmade and handcrafted items as well. And sometimes, you know, we have a limited number of businesses that sell kind of related products with that as well. You can still do applications, and they are found at the fortmillsc.gov, and the farmers market policy and all the details can be found at the town website. And you can also email Dina at dgriffin@fortmillsc.gov for any questions that people have about that. This year, we started, we've been doing this since 2 years now, but there's a $5 fee for one space per Saturday, and this is collected at the end of each market day by our farmers market attendant. Our farmers market attendant this year is Bill Woodard. Brian, I called him, sorry Brian. He couldn't be here tonight, but he works a lot with our schools, so people will probably recognize him. But he's excited to be out there starting this Saturday. But the fee helps offset some cost of providing the market, such as porta-johns, hand washing stations, and some of our signage. We do require our vendors to supply their own tents, tables, chairs, and supplies. And again, this year we will have occasional food trucks. We have occasional live music as well as recorded music each Saturday. Our town tent is set up each market with town information about events, departments, etc. And then we also have a kids scavenger hunt that they pick up there and do around the market. And then they bring it back to the town tent and dig into our treasure chest. Dina has a nice little treasure chest for them to get a prize. This Saturday will be our opening day. We have DJ Brown Sound. He's going to be with us with music and bubbles and games. We have 37 vendors for opening day with coffee, produce, goat cheese products, breads, baked treats, honey, meats, plants, flowers, and artisan and craftsmen. And Flipped Family Food Truck will be here serving up their delicious breakfast. And then this is just some pictures from last season. And we just look forward to another successful year of that.
Chicana, at one point in time, I think we were giving out vests and bags for the second Saturday litter pickup at the town tent. Do we still do that, or do we have that happen somewhere else?
Yes, that happens somewhere else now. Okay. And actually, second Saturday is going to be happening this Saturday. Where do they pick that up at?
The information is actually on the stormwater page. It's been taken over by our stormwater coordinator, Mindy McDonald. And so she is spearheading that. I don't know all the details, but it is on the stormwater page on fortmillsc.gov.
Okay, could we double check on that, since the first Saturday is this Saturday, and it is a volunteer program that I believe is extremely important to our community. So I would like for that information to be front and center as we are a few days away. The farmers market is one of my favorites, so I am so grateful for all the vendors and the work that goes into managing this. I'd like to give a shout out to one of our residents, Carolyn Blair. Every Saturday she goes to the market. Every Saturday she takes what she buys, sets it up into a beautiful picture in her yard and takes a picture of it. It's always flowers and honey and bread. It's gorgeous, and says how much fun she had at the farmer's market. So I'd kind of like to give her a shout out for advertising what a great event it is.
Yes.
Council
definitely.
members, any comments, questions?
Well, I think we've had a couple of our farmers market booths turn into full storefronts now too.
Like
So
Humble Coffee.
yeah, Humble Coffee.
And
We've got
State
State
Line
Line Gear. So it's very cool to see it not only add to the bottom line at the farmers market, but then add to our businesses and communities in the area with the support they get. So that's great.
Yes,
Great
definitely.
point, great point. I do think from a true community effort, we are benefiting in the long term. So I'm real happy about that.
Yeah.
Since it was brought up on the second Saturday, I would like to ask staff if we can do a push out. I know a lot of people are talking about Beta Club and volunteer hours they need for end of school. And with us having the second Saturday right here, it might be a good time to get a lot of volunteers to make sure they get the credit they need. So if we could do a hard push for that, that'd probably benefit multiple places.
I'll get with staff tomorrow morning on that.
Thank you.
Oh, happy event to have that starting. So we're going to move right into presentation number 3, since you are right here, Memorial Day ceremony. Jacana?
This is a picture from last year. But our Memorial Day ceremony will be May 29th. It's Monday, May 29th at 10 a.m. at Unity Cemetery, 303 Tom Hall Street. Our parking is located at the Town of Fort Mill Utilities Department, which is at 131 East Elliott Street, just adjacent to Unity Cemetery. This program will feature reading of the names of the fallen, special music, laying of the wreath, and our rifle volley and taps done by American Legion Post 43. And this is some pictures from last year. And we do read the names of the fallen who are buried in Unity Cemetery and the names who have been submitted by our community. So if our community would like to add their loved one's name to our list to be read, all they need to do is just email it to me at jhester@fortmillsc.gov or call me at 803-487-5413. And then all of our events information, just visit our town website at fortmillsc.gov and follow the Town of Fort Mill on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
This event I've been here for 18 years. It has evolved into one of the sweetest events that we have during the year. Doing it in the cemetery, in and among the names of those that gave their life, the crowd continues to grow. It's a beautiful event, and I appreciate all the effort that you put into it. I would remind the public, however, that it gets hot. I don't know why that's one of the hottest days of the year, but it gets hot. So we do put up tents and try our best to make it comfortable. But if you come, it's probably worthy of bringing an umbrella or something to shield yourself from the sun while we do the ceremony that has become extremely important to all of us. So Thank you, Jacana. You do a beautiful job with that.
Oh, thank you.
It's a very reverent service, I think, with playing of taps and all. It just
Ugh.
gets everything.
Anybody else? All right, then we'll move into, you just don't get a break, do you, Jacana? Jazz Night in the Park, presentation number 4.
So this is a picture from last year. We had a beautiful evening last year. I know some of you were out there, and Ben brought his mom, right? Or
Right.
Chris, or both of
Probably
you?
both of us.
Brought your moms. It was a fun night. But this year it's going to be on Friday, June 2nd from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to feature Shelley Ruffin Band, and she does Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac in kind of a jazzy style. I've seen her, so she is really, really good. And then we have Gabrielle Bello that will be opening the show that evening. And that will be at the Fort Mill Amphitheater at Walter Elijah Park at 345 North White Street. And this is Gabriel Bello. He would be doing his jazz versions of contemporary music, such as Uptown Funk and
Oh, boy.
that kind of contemporary music. So that's going to be a really fun show too. And this is Shelley Ruffin. She will have her band with her doing the Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. Our food trucks for the evening will be Chancho's Tacos, King of Fire, That Wine Truck, Hobbs Nuts, Charlie B's Seafood, Salute Chew, S&K Funnel Cakes, A Sprinkle of Love, Chapel Snack Shack, Crave Food Truck, Jamrock Jerk Spot, Abbott's Frozen Custard, and Jay's Maze. And we will offer beer and wine that evening as well. Parking is at Veterans Park, 106 North White Street, Ardrey Street, Looms Way, Calhoun Street Park, and then some spaces are available in the amphitheater lot. What to bring is bring a chair or blanket, no coolers, no outside food, no outside drinks or alcohol, no golf carts, no bicycles, no pets except for service animals, which I accidentally left that in there. We do allow pets at some of our smaller things. It's just the more crowded events like the Strawberry Festival where we do not, like pets to be there just because there's so many people. No smoking, vaping, no profanity, no firearms or weapons. And there's some more pictures from last year. And then again, just follow the Town of Fort Mill on social media and go to our town website, fortmillsc.gov, for all of our events information. And I will be asking for a resolution for Jazz Night in the park.
Wonderful. Thinking that sounds like a great night to be out in the town of Fort Mill and enjoy that. Any questions for Jacana?
Just thank you for all this and the planning and stuff's coming up. All very exciting. Jazz Night's one of my favorites, but all of them are.
Well, thank you. And thanks to my team.
And Dina, thank you for everything you do. We appreciate it. And Chris and all the folks on staff that volunteer for these events. Jacana carries that heavy weight of getting everything in order. Everybody else makes it happen. So it takes a village, and I'm awfully proud of the one we have.
Yes.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you, Jacana.
Thank you.
There are no old business items, and we will move directly into new business item number 1. Speaking of, Jazz Night in the Park, a resolution designating Walter Elijah Park, 345 North White Street, as the site of a public festival on Friday, June 2nd, 2023, from 6 until 9, in which alcoholic beverages may be sold, possessed, and consumed, and to authorize a special event permit for live music and sound amplifying equipment. Jacana, is there anything different than what you just gave us in the presentation?
No.
Does anyone have any questions? Then I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you so much. New business item, thank you, Jacana. New business item number 2, first reading Crossroads Development Project and ordinance further amending ordinance number 2021-22 so as to change the effective date for the rezoning of York County tax map number 02017010064 and 065. I want to check, make sure the numbers were the same, from PND, Planned Neighborhood Development, to MXU, Mixed Use Development. Chris Pettit is our subject matter expert. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor. The new business item number 2, 3, and 4 are all related to the Crossroads Development Project. That project was originally approved in September of 2021, and there's been a number of extensions, and at this time the developer is requesting another extension to allow more time to take ownership of the property, which validates these ordinances. Otherwise, there are no changes to anything that was originally approved, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, council, do you have any questions?
Chris, is there a legal justification of, or a limit on how long these can be extended, so it's not any concerns in that.
So long as any underlying laws that would regulate, like
changed.
development agreements or something like that, doesn't change, but that doesn't happen very often.
And Mr. Hayes is here to answer any questions. I know he's been working on this for some time with a desire to get it right and make this transfer be a good thing as was promised. So any questions you might have, I appreciate your being here to answer those, Mr. Hayes. Okay, hearing no comments or questions, do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve new business item number 2.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? That was unanimous. Thank you. New business item number 3, first reading, Crossroads Development Project and ordinance further amending ordinance number 2021-24 so as to change the effective date of the ordinance authorizing the entry by the town of Fort Mill into a development agreement with Crossroads Development Partners, LLC, a North Carolina limited liability company, J. Max Henson, LLC, Max Henson Jr., Max Henson III, Marshall Odell Henson, J. Max Henson Jr. as custodian for Adam Jason Henson, Reynold Lee Sarr, and Christy Lee Sarr, Linnell Simmons Bailey, Judith Alicia Kimbrell, James Wayne Lancaster, Ronald Allen Vogel, John W. May Sr., Brenda B. Tyson, and Ronald H. Bailey, Christopher Robert Blanton, Vonnie James Blanton, and Kenneth Dwayne Blanton, and Thomas G. Hare for properties located at York County Tax Map numbers 020-1701, 064-065, 738-000059, portion of 094, and 077 and 738-000046, and authorizing execution and delivery of an amended agreement. Chris Pettit.
Mayor, same as the last one, I will note I did have a typo in Exhibit A,
Okay.
but I will fix that before second reading.
Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Pettit, just to remind everybody of what this, so there's 3 related topics, business items. One is the rezoning, one is the development agreement, which would be enacted, and one is the annexations.
That's correct. So the overall project consisted of properties that were already in town, so those needed the rezoning. Some that weren't in town, those needed the annexation. And then the development agreement covers all those properties. So that's why we have the 3 ordinances.
Because when you read through it, it talks about certain properties, and then it talks about others, and I was going to get an overview if there's questions on that, if someone's watching or whatever, they understand why there's 3 different three different items for that.
And this is the second extension, right?
This
tonight?
would be our third
Third.
extension.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Further questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
Make a motion we approve new business item number 3.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. New business item number 4, first reading, Crossroads Development Project and ordinance further amending ordinance number 2021-25 so as to change the effective date for the annexation of York County Tax Map numbers 738-00000059, portion of 738-000094, 738-00000077, turn page, and 738-00000046, containing approximately 36.71 plus or minus acres located on Fort Mill Parkway and off of Hare Road. Chris Pettit.
Mayor, same as the last ones, and unless otherwise told, I had no typos in this one.
I didn't see him, so
I'll make a motion to approve new business item number 4.
thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Thank you so much. Unanimous vote. Thank you, Chris and Mr. Hayes. Good luck.
Promise I won't make you go through all those numbers anymore.
Oh, thank you. Just as long as it gets done right, I'm happy.
Thank you all.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
New business item number 5, public hearing and first reading, text amendment 2023-211, mobile food vendor, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for the town of Fort Mill. Article 6, administration, enforcement, penalties, and fees, section 4.4, mobile food vendors, to further amend the requirements for mobile food vendors, to provide for a public hearing, and to provide for other matter relating thereto. Penelope is our subject matter expert, but we're going to open the public meeting first. Public meeting is open. Do we have anyone that would like to make comment or ask question? Hearing none, we will close public comment, public hearing. Penelope.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Zoning and UDO Subcommittee of Town Council met on March 1st of this year to discuss concerns related to the town's mobile food vendor regulations, particularly for surrounding safety and making sure vendors were following all necessary protocols as far as receiving annual inspections from the fire marshal, having valid business licenses, and staying up to date with hospitality taxes. Following discussion, the committee recommended to remove the provision within the ordinance that that didn't allow overnight stay, as well as to make the trucks permitted as an accessory use to any commercial use, thus putting the focus on the regulations solely on safety above all other matters. At Town Council's March 13th meeting, the full council heard the subcommittee's recommendation and approved a motion to request staff to draft this text amendment. And so we took staff took the text amendment to the Planning Commission on April 18th, and they recommended to approve by a vote of 4-0.
All right. I'd like to say thank you for your advisement on this particular amendment and ordinance. Again, this ordinance is strictly to ensure the safety of those working those trucks, providing those trucks, and the community that are served by those trucks. The town doesn't make anything off of this. It's not a money-making, revenue-bearing activity, but it is one in which we want to make sure we do everything possible, like all the surrounding municipalities, to make sure that it's a safe practice. So thank you, and I appreciate that. Council, do you have any questions for Penelope?
Just a comment. Thank you, staff, for putting this together. I know during COVID, the food trucks were like the Wild West. You would have one drive in from somewhere, they'd do their thing and then leave. They weren't paying for business licenses in some cases, or collecting the hospitality taxes. And, you know, everyone that operates a business in town has a business license, so it's only fair that everyone have one that is doing business in the town. And that's just my one comment that I'd like to throw out there, because some people have said that is not fair, but it's really makes it by the book, and that everybody's following the correct rules that the staff has put in place for these food trucks and the committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Penelope, I had one question under section F5. It just says reserved.
And that is just for, basically we took out where it used to be that it was not prohibited, the actual, so just in case if we ever need to go back and change the rules, we have the space, so we don't have to lose the number.
And Penelope's absolutely correct. One thing, if we ever referenced section 6 in the text somewhere, and we deleted 5 and moved 6 to 5, it messes up any other references of it. So that's a technique to use to where you don't have to re-reference things.
Kind of, got it. Like having a intentionally left blank page. This is our intentionally left blank line. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
I do want to thank staff and the committee for simplifying this, because I know there was some disinformation out there, but the whole goal, as the mayor said, is to make sure it's safe, that the trucks are inspected, make sure they are licensed, because they can be the Wild West, especially when there's a big event. So I read back through it again, and I think it's pretty straightforward, and I think that was the goal. And also to make sure that we're, as Mr. Moody said, it's not competing in a startup's not competing against a brick and mortar. It should be. But I think it goes back to the comment also we were talking about the Ms. Cook talked about the startup businesses down at the
Farmers
at the farmer's market. It turned into a business. I think the food trucks are also a lot of this. A lot of times people want to get into that business, and it gives them a good opportunity to get into it if it's successful. So
Yeah, gets their feet wet in,
Yeah.
in small entrepreneurship. Directed staff to go through the process, and for the audience to know, we went through the planning commission with the text amendment, and we're here tonight with first reading for the text amendment. And again, planning commission made a recommendation to approve.
Wonderful. This too is, it does have a link to safety in that as elections and the need to get information out to the public grow, and we also have folks with the best of intents being involved in elections that want to put signs out for all the right reasons, but they end up in locations and forgotten or ignored, you choose, in locations that can become not just unsightly for the community, but can be in the way of the sight lines that are necessary for those traveling our streets, because they may disrupt the safety of the line of sight. So given that, this council, all of us have used signs to be elected to these positions. We don't want to stand in the way of that, but we also want it to be orderly, safe for our community, and removed as soon as possible, for everyone that wants to get that information out. So again, very good reasons for this update. We also don't have a person on staff that is on staff simply to go out and manage those signs and pick them up afterwards and clean up. So, this is something that the town is trying to manage our funding as well as possible with staffing. So, all good reasons for the ordinance. Any questions for Penelope?
As far as the communication of this to candidates, I know there's paperwork that's signed in York
Yeah.
when you sign
I'm
up.
gonna wait for the second reading, but I've already drafted the policy little page write-up that I give to the register of voter registration in York County. They will receive an updated with the new rules.
But the candidate would have to see that, so there's no missing it, or I didn't know about that, or. that kind of
Exactly.
thing. Right.
And I think it's important to note that a lot of the people that put the signs out aren't the candidates. They're people that ask, hey, give me 5 signs, I'll go put them up. And they don't know the rules. So you're going to hear in and among us as that time approaches what those guidelines are. I'm sure we're going to share it on our town website so that we'll make it available. If you have questions and you're seeing this, ask us. We'll do everything we can to prevent you from losing your signs or them being appropriately placed.
And to follow up on the last one, there again, it's been simplified, it's very clear. Signs mostly have to go on private property with the owner's permission, not right-of-ways, not in the middle of the road, not whatever. So it's pretty simple, but I do hope that this helps clarify some of the crazy things that we've read in social media. But thank y'all for all the effort you put forward to it. And I think this is also very similar to other municipalities locally. So there again, it should be very simplified and very clear what guidelines are.
And the mayor, spoke of safety. A lot of times, sometimes signs are placed in the right of way you can't see if they're tall signs to pass them to turn left or right. So this is just to protect our citizens too, and to keep all the people running in line. So thank you, staff, for doing all this.
How would people who are running for a state or federal office find out about this? So we talked about it'd be at York County if you're filing for, one of these seats or for the school
Sure.
board.
And,
but-
and like the mayor stated, with events, we can advertise it on our website. Once this gets passed, we can put like a plug on there. Specifically, like one of the rules, you cannot put the election signs 60 days prior to the election. So that's something that we need to start advertising through our social media accounts for people to know.
A lot of times too, those campaign offices will reach out to town staff and ask what the rules are. So they do sometimes do a good job of asking what the rules are.
Perfect, thank you.
Great. Further conversation? Hearing none, can I call for a motion?
I make a motion to approve new business item number 6.
All right.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve new business item number 6. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you very much. Lots of good work. Information and discussion items. Item number 1, Trail Master Plan Update. Penelope, one of the more exciting parts.
Yes.
All right.
Just to remind the audience that that is watching this tonight, the town, has hired a consultant, McAdams Group, to do a trail master plan. The objective of this trail master plan was to establish a vision for the future of trails within the town of Fort Mill. So that's like a long-range plan. The second objective was to develop an implementation plan that puts us on the path toward reality on realizing the vision, long range and short range. And the last thing was to study up to 2 corridors more intensely for construction feasibility and design for short-term construction consideration. So we're excited about trails, so that's a short-range goal, and that was the third objective. Now that we had the public engagement and draft network have been finalized, work has begun on network segment prioritization and drafting of the final plan documents. The steering committee and staff have reviewed the prioritization plan and have selected 4 projects that will be highlighted within the plan with detailed cut sheets. So these projects consist of a mix of highest rated priority projects in addition to most shovel-ready projects to go. These cut sheets will provide us another tool to use to gain community support and potential grant funding to move those projects along. McAdams is finalizing the draft plan. It's including a chapter dedicated to how we're going to implement this plan. The draft is scheduled to be completed by the end of May and ready for review for our scheduled June 5th steering committee. It's our last steering committee meeting on June 5th. And then McAdams will take this feedback from the draft and complete any edits by June 30th. Staff will then provide the full council with the draft for review with a planned presentation to council at the August 14th town council meeting. So we're almost there. We're near the finish
How
line.
exciting. The process is one that, it's so easy to have conversation and an idea bubble up, and we all get excited, but it's very difficult to take that idea to fruition. So this one has taken a very ample path to discover, research, develop, share, bring in collaborative thinking with all sorts of people on that steering committee. So at the end, we should have something that will help us go out and raise the money to make this a reality for Fort Mill and its people. It is just happening at a pace and a rate that I'm just very excited about. So it's thorough. Thank you.
And we are too. So after just a little, after the August 14th, then it would be my goal to amend the comprehensive plan and attach this document. So as developments occur, we have this document, part of our comprehensive plan, so there'll be teeth in our regulations and recommendations when we have new developments we would like to see more trails as well.
So wonderful for our community. Council members, questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's accolades. I know there's a lot of excitement around this, and I appreciate all the work y'all put into it, the steering committee, because we love actionable things. So we can actually get something going. Also, it's strategic and long range also. So it gives us, we've got trails all over town. This is a good way to start pulling them together. We've got a lot of outdoor, people who love the outdoors. I like to go walk on trails and stuff, so I'm very excited. I know a lot of other people have stopped and asked me about it, so thank you so much for.
We get calls a lot, just asking we're so excited, so.
There's so many more trails than even I knew about. When you go out and start Googling, where trails in and about Fort Mill, it's incredible. So this will hopefully give us a pathway to not only connect, but provide better information on where to go. So I'm excited for the town and its community.
I think it works in well with our strategy of keep protecting our green space. And I mean, that's with the development continues, we want to protect our green space and that walkable community, which I think has come cyclical again now. So that's very exciting.
The ability to lace this in with anybody who wants to do business in Fort Mill or build, for the future, to be able to have that laced into knowing that this is something they have to take into consideration, is having, trails as a part of their development and the viable spaces and things, so.
And it also helps with grants, because it takes a village to build these trails, and when you have a document that gets adopted by council, then that helps us with federal grants, state grants, or even the local grants from Carolina Thread Trail.
Right.
If we actually have a plan, that helps our grant process.
And kind of feeding off of that, I was talking to Mina about a project she's trying to get off the ground over near Catawba Ridge and Banks Trail. And she mentioned an opportunity as we got to talking. It's like, that's a perfect Eagle Scout project. We often get asked, what kind of projects do we need in the community? So I would challenge the committee, if there are some smaller projects on there that could be managed by an Eagle Scout group or, a community group that wants to get involved, if there is a way we could do that, I think, again, gives them some buy-in to the process and the opportunities. Part of the reason she and I were talking was because Catawba Ridge, one of the teachers reached out because the students were concerned about the environmental impact that our community is having with the level of growth that we have going on and what can they do. So I think this is a great segue into what we're trying to do, as Mr. Wolf said, trying to keep the green spaces usable and friendly so we can all get out and use the green spaces more. So kudos to you guys and all the hard work. I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
I do think that there are going to be multiple opportunities further down in the planning phase to reach out and grasp, not just, and you're correct about the scouts ask all the time, but there will be lots of opportunities for participation. I'm just thrilled because oftentimes we have great ideas, but when we get to the table to pitch that idea, got nothing on hand in paper and in plan to be able to secure those funds. So this one has taken a wonderful path so that when we reach the end of this period, everybody will be able to see exactly what we want to do with the money we'll be hoping to obtain.
Sure, and I'm excited because those 4 cut sheets in that document is going to give council an idea. What does it take to do a paved trail, a surface trail, a compacted gravel trail? It'll give you all and how much it would cost, feasibility. It's going to be really detailed, so it gives you an idea of what to look forward as you prioritize certain projects. Also, like Ms. Cook stated about local volunteers with Boy Scouts, some of the prioritizations also hit it on the nail with what's going on with the CMAC that we're doing on Whites Road. Like the public was, big on prioritization, and so the community should be proud. Some of those projects are already funded, and they will be also in the works as we're working on the Trail Master Plan. So, it's trails, but it's also sidewalks and side paths that we're working as a group, basically, with private and public partnerships.
It's mobility, and when Penelope and I are at the RFATS meeting, they talk about multi-mobility or multi-modality, excuse me. And that covers everything from cyclists to hikers to pedestrians on sidewalks to school children to those of us that drive cars on our roads. So it's a big push, and it's what Mr. Wolf said about moving forward into the future. Just please note, none of these things happen very quickly. You have to do everything from right-of-ways to research to utility movements. It's a lot more comprehensive than that beautiful vision that you get when you say trail. It's like rabbit. You're kind of looking and thinking, let's grab our work gloves and let's go out and help. This takes time, and doing the paperwork in advance and the preparation in advance helps us to get to that goal a lot quicker. A lot quicker. Thank you.
Yeah.
And not everything may connect. I think there's sometimes not a disconnect, it's bad use, but people don't understand that you build these things in sections.
Yes.
And they eventually come together, and that is the plan. That is the grand plan. So I know something you're really passionate about. So that's a great job.
It takes time, but it's going to be a great project. I really believe and also kudos to the community. Talking to the consultants, they've never had a community of over 100 residents come to the public engagement. And
That's a
in
lot
my
of
19 years of planning career, I have only had like 30 or 40 citizens come to a public hearing like that. So it was, I think the whole community is very excited.
Even the online survey, I think, had a lot of
Oh yeah,
feedback.
that was even
Right.
further.
A lot more, yeah.
Yeah.
Your passion shows, and your leadership skills definitely come out with this. So thank you for reaching out to all the resources you have, all the volunteers and the efforts you've put into it. So we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Penelope. With that, we do not have any executive session items for this evening, so we'll start with Chris Wolf. What do you have for the good of the whole?
For the good of the whole, well, I'd say the turnout at the Strawberry Festival was very impressive, and I believe that the visitors and the guests got a good example of Fort Mill and the community. I want to thank the police and the fire and the EMTs and the staff and all the volunteers and all those people that made it happen, made it possible. There was a lot of people who put a lot of effort into it, and I think it was a wonderful, make it a wonderful and a safe event for all to attend. We were there till the end, and everybody loved it. It was a great event. Also, I want to thank all the vendors who participated, who made it possible, and look forward to seeing them next year, we hope.
All righty. Mr. Moody?
It was a real good time at the Strawberry Festival. Me and my two younger kids spun every wheel of every tent in that park. And we came home with so many bags of goodies. But it was fun being with them and staff. I was out there from like 11:30 to 8:30. And, it's like I've said before, we should be thankful for what we have in Fort Mill, our quality of life. Because unlike no other in South Carolina, I think a lot of people are figuring that out, right? And they're moving here. So, but anyway, it was a great job by our staff. Thank you for everything and all that you did. I was amazed that some people got there, I think, 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to start that day, and were there till well after the fireworks were done that night. So thank you all for those efforts.
Lisa?
Want to kind of piggyback on the Strawberry Festival. I mean, the fact that you guys had the Goodyear blimp fly over us, I mean, that took so much planning. We really appreciate that. So I don't want to know what the budget was for that,
Magic.
but thankful that it happened at the same time the golf tournament was going on.
Might know somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody knows somebody. It's always good that they park in Chester. So just want to remind everybody, this is our last videoed council meeting before school ends. So we're coming up on the end of school. Congratulations to all the graduates out there for the high schools. Want to give a shout out to NAFO Men's Lacrosse, who won state championship since our last meeting. So really proud of those guys and the hard work and effort they put into it. And then just would like to say, Ronnie, we miss you. Can't wait to have you back in here. So our council's a tight family, and when one of us is out, we all feel it. So that's all I have.
Alan?
Strawberry Festival, what else can I say that hasn't already been said? Fantastic job, as always. Memorial Day, we talked about the town event. We also have an event. It's going to be held at a local business. You can go on www.themurphchallenge.com. It's a workout. It's in honor of Michael Murphy, who was a Navy SEAL who died in Afghanistan. I'll be taking part in it. Today is also happy birthday, Councilman Hudgens.
You took mine.
Well, then here, you can have my anniversary.
No,
How about
I was
that?
gonna say.
Today's also my 19th anniversary. We actually got married at First Baptist Church in the chapel, which at the time was the only thing that was there. We actually got married during Festa Fun, and took a fire truck, a Flint Hill fire truck. Mr. Eddie Cribb drove it and went straight through across Tom Hall over to the Home Run Cafe at Knights Castle, if you remember that. That's where we had our reception. So
We do not rent out fire trucks for weddings.
I had an inside connection on that one, so yeah, we were good there. So happy anniversary to my wife. Last thing is the stormwater mural that's being done at Kingsley. You can still, there's spaces available. The public can join in and actually be part of painting it. Go to the stormwater department's page. They have a sign up genius where you can go sign up for an hour block, 2 hour block, and you don't have to know how to paint. You just have to know how to stay inside the lines. So that's another great project that mine is heading up as well. So that's all I got.
Thank you, and happy anniversary.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Ben, the birthday
Birthday
guy.
boy.
Yeah, another one. So I think I figured I walked by 4 o'clock. I was there about 10:30 Saturday, and by 4 o'clock I had 3 miles just of walking. But as I sat on some of the barriers, I just looked around, and that kind of got me thinking. To see, I got to give a big shout out to Public Works. I thought about it. All the trash cans, they were running trash cans, and there was never anything full, never trash overflowing. Guys walking around grabbing little tidbits that people may have dropped, but everything that, thinking about the logistics. Dave, you may know how many stakes were put up. Just you think about all the crowd control fencing, all the stakes that were put up, all the fencing that had to be put up. Then you got to pull the stakes back up and put it all away. I mean, there's a lot. It just doesn't magically happen. And everybody did an outstanding job. Police and fire and and the committee and everything. But Public Works, I think those are the guys that really, I won't say that don't get the credit they deserve, but people don't think about how this stuff happens. And they were on it. They really were. And the guys were having fun. I saw them laughing and cutting up with each other. And they were there a long day. So
I saw
great
one
job.
on Facebook, he posted he was having steak dinner last night, and I said, much deserved. for sure.
Absolutely.
And Brown for Parks and Rec, I mean,
Right.
yeah, I had you on text, because we were running out of Cokes constantly, and so does in the vans there. I mean, it was a busy day, so I know your crowd was in charge of that, so thank you very much for being at my beck and call, because we definitely needed it.
Well, I'm going to follow all these comments and say ditto, because every point of perspective is absolute. But I want to add one little thing to it. I do every year see the work that goes into this. It's a year-long process, and I'm going to touch on a sore spot. I see a lot of comments every year, why can't we go back to Festifun? Why can't we do Festifun? Well, guys, I lived through Festifun. It was generated and created during my lifetime.
Right.
And it was a blessed event for a very small town that could all fit on Main Street. You knew every person there, every person. It was something that in today's world just doesn't exist. And I know I too would like to go back to be able to walk from my home up to Main Street, hear the chairman of the board playing in front of Kimbrell's, seeing the mayor and council and all those people I grew up loving so much that put our community together there to celebrate that. The Strawberry Festival was never intended to be Festifun. It never was, because we just couldn't handle the Festifun with a town population of 24,000, not 4,000. So we all hold that in reverence as a very special time that was beautiful, and it deserves our memories. It does. In light of that, however, I think when we look at the Strawberry Festival, which takes a year to plan, multi groups of people to execute, I'd like to thank our public, because they've been generous and patient and kind about the clogged streets, the parking everywhere. I was there almost all day. I did go home and eat dinner, I won't lie. Hey, and I got funnel cake this year. Oh. But I found the feeling during the festival was very pleasant. I didn't see angry people. I didn't see mob mentality. I didn't see racing collections of people. I didn't have anybody knock me down, or everybody was happy. And I love that. So I think between the efforts that our staff placed into that, our community brought to that, I was so proud to be a Fort Million. I sat there at the Billy Joel tribute band, and hey, I knew the words to those songs. That was kind of good, you know? So it was a blessing that I felt. God smiled on us with the weather. The people that came were wonderful. It was just a perfect event for our community, and I hope that someday my grandkids will go, you remember that Strawberry Festival?
Right.
What fun was that? So thanks. We have great memories of being brought up in Fort Mill, and we're creating great memories for our children and our grandchildren. So thanks to each of you for all of that. multitudes of hours were spent from people on council that volunteered their time. Thank you for that. I know it doesn't get noticed very often, but I think we're so proud. Thank you for the publication of pictures and photos. And Tony, I know you're out there somewhere videotaping this. I want to thank you because we do very little that continues to stay in our history without your hand on it. So just a big thank you, and I hope that everyone will have a wonderful week.
If you really enjoyed Festifun, I know another shameless plug, but State Line Gear has a Festifun T-shirt right now that's really cool. I love that she brought that back. But then also I'll say, you know, if you want to have a voice, don't do it just on social media. Get involved with the committee. You know, the Strawberry Festival Committee is always looking for some help. And again, the planning starts now, so you don't have to wait till the week of it. Get involved now on these committees.
History Museum always
Yeah,
needs
History
help.
Museum. Yeah, we didn't have near enough volunteers from the History Museum. So, yeah, they tried and tried. So get out and get involved.
Wonderful week. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything everyone has done.
We'll request that same weather again next year, please.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Happy to. Never give up hope.
I will say that the playground was
Packed.
packed.
Yes.
Royally
I would
packed.
think, you probably got a better word, but yeah, it was definitely being utilized, and kids were having a blast. I stood there in 15 minutes just watched them. So good accolades to getting that done. That was a great to get that project kicked off and done.
I think Miss Close was probably big smile.
Smiling.
Oh yeah, it
I
was
did-
very tastefully done.
I did see lines, and I did see comments about the lines, but that line I stood in for that funnel cake, it wasn't that long, and it was worth it. I got strawberries on my funnel cake. It was just perfect.
It's a good chance to
You
talk
know?
to people and
Yeah.
meet people and things in line.
I thought it was just genuinely a very good day, just a very good day, and a very good week leading up to it. So thanks to the Strawberry Queens, thanks to Barry, thanks to all the musical acts. I'm sure I've missed things I didn't thank, but I hope you know that we all thank you for everything. So with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you so much for being here. Have a happy week.